Okay, so in this tutorial, I would just like to explain what leeches are in Anki. So let's say you have a deck here. If you click the gear icon and then options and you go to lapses, you'll see the leech threshold and the leech action. So what a leech is, as you can see, it's under lapses. This means like a lapse of memory, essentially. So what a leech is if you have a card that you add to your deck, if you get it wrong over and over and over, it becomes what's called a leech. So if you have 8 lapses, meaning you forgot something 8 times, then something happens to that card based upon this setting. So the card can either be suspended or it can be tagged as a leech. So as it currently stands here with my settings, these are the default settings, and as it stands here with these settings, if I get a card wrong 8 times, then what it will do is suspend the card. And I could change this, I could change it to 3, I could make it so it only gets tagged as a leech, or whatever you want. So the point of this setting is if you're adding a bunch of cards to Anki, often a card here and there will just be really hard to remember for some reason, and you'll get it wrong over and over, and it'll just be a waste of time. So this allows you to identify such cards and get them out of your deck so you can study more efficiently. Because if you add, let's say, 300 cards over the course of a certain amount of time, cards that you get good or get correct each time tend to be very efficient and not really require very much time. You just make the card, you review it just a few seconds every, a few days later, a few weeks later. Pretty soon the interval is up at like a year or something. So cards that you just smoothly can review don't take up much time, but cards that you get wrong over and over, you can be racking your brain, it's going to come up a bunch of times. And for some reason, if you're just not ready for that information, the information is just not sticking, it's probably good to get that card out of your deck so then later on you can add that information back once it will stick better. For example, if you have a piece of information that if you learn some other stuff first, then it becomes easy, then at that time you can add it back. So it's nice to have this function because then you can remove these inefficient cards from your deck automatically. So 8 is pretty high. Sometimes I put it down to like 3 or so, but it's totally up to you. So anyway, that's what a leech is, and that's how to change the settings for leeches.